do something a little different today and pop on here before I start my process video, and I'm going to actually film my voiceover today. So you'll see me in the little corner of the screen and we'll watch the process video together today. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you like having it done this way. I thought you might be able to connect with me better and just see my reactions, and we can just hang out while the process video is going on. So I'm going to work on days 10 and 11 today. If you want to check out the previous days, days 1 through 9, in my December daily series that I did last December, I'll link that down below. And of course, what I am doing here, I'm participating in Scrappy Christmas in July, which is a month of Christmassy crafty goodness created by Tracy Fox, who is Scrappy Like a Fox on Instagram. She will be linked below as well, and so I hope that you will follow her and follow the hashtag on Instagram so that you can connect with all the other artists who are also participating. So let's jump right in and we're gonna get started here. So I have my photos printed out for a couple of days in a row, and I'm just gonna go ahead and trim those out. You can see here that they are all trimmed out and ready to go. There are a couple of 6x8s for the opening pages, a couple of 4x6s, and a 4x4 in a square. And so I print those here at home using my Canon Pixma printer. Highly recommend that. Use that printer every day. Makes it really easy for projects like this to print the photos and get them out there on my desk pretty easily. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my design process. This is the opening page. And so if you do 2 albums per year in December daily, then you're probably used to doing 2 opening pages. That's something that's pretty new to me. So I have this transparency that I made probably last year, and I added, it's a star transparency from Ali Edwards, and I just added that little wreath and the little acrylic star. And the weird thing about that transparency is that when I adhered the wreath onto it, I didn't know if I should center it based on where the holes are punched or based on the whole width. And I think I centered it based on the whole width. And then what happens is, what do you do behind it? And so I get that question a lot when I use transparencies and vellums. What do you do about underneath the transparency? And this is an excellent example, actually, of embracing the imperfection, because what ends up happening is that whatever's behind that transparency, if it's in a pocket page, then the photo is going to be off, and whatever, if you center on the photo, then that's going to be off from the center of the width. I hope I'm making sense there. So what you'll end up seeing is that the 10, I'm going to go ahead and center that in the photo, and then I realized that actually I want to use the table as the home base for my journaling, and so that actually is not centered in the photo. So nothing here really is centered. And this becomes a great example of how to embrace the imperfections in the process of using photos that aren't centered and using transparencies that might not be centered, and just going with it and letting go ahead and go with what you feel inspired to do, and don't obsess over whether it lines up perfectly or not. Ultimately, I think when I open the album and I see this transparency, I'm going to be glad that I included it, and I think that I'm really going to be glad that I included this photo. This is a photo of Natalie and Emberlyn. They are just hanging out at the dining room table. There's a plug in the corner there that they hang out at a lot when they need to charge their phones and when they need to get some power. So that becomes a sort of hangout place. And I just snapped that photo of them really quickly and journaled a little bit about seeing them hang out together and how I really actually love that our house has that little space. I think that power outlets and power plugs have become the new water cooler, right? Where you hang out together and play together and just have a good time. And you'll notice that on that, it went a little fast, but I used the line stamps from Paisley Press from a couple years back, and I masked that photo so that the lines only stamped on the table part of the photo. So that is all I did for day 10. It's a photo, journaling, and the number at the top. The number at the top, of course, is from Ali Edwards' December Daily 2018, and the little fabric star is from, I guess it's not really a fabric star, it's embroidered star. It's from Felicity Jane, probably from 2017. So now I'm moving into day 11 here. And do you guys remember these tags from a couple of years ago from Ali Edwards? They are a bit taller than 4 inches. So I chopped off the top of the tag and then used another tag to create the tag shape and punched it and added a little trim to the top. And then I have just a couple of washi tapes that I've gathered on my worktop. You can see my worktop behind me, how it's kind of laid out. And so at first I put down these 2 thin strips, a strip of silver and a strip of red. And then I'm looking for a label. I think what I want to do is layer a stamped sentiment over top of the washi tape. So I'm gonna just trim out one of these labels from Pretty Little Studio. I'm not sure how it is that I happen to have a little stash of Pretty Little Studio labels that somehow ended up in my December Daily stash. So I'm going with it, right? And I have just the tiniest one here, and it became a great little home for this stamped sentiment from Paisley Press, from a previous year's stamp set for December Daily. And then I ended up taking off that pink strip or that red strip of washi tape. It was a little too pink, I thought. And so now it's just the silver and the red label on top, and it actually kind of looks like Santa's belt. It looks like Santa has a sparkly silver belt there and a little stamped sentiment. And then I had a little chipboard star from Ali Edwards, and so I layered that onto the photo of Alan. And our story for that day is decorating our Christmas tree. And so if you followed in the month of December, there was actually a story about how we bought the Christmas tree and we put it up in the living room, and we pulled all the ornaments out, and it sat undecorated for like a week. We just moved around the ornaments. It's kind of funny now and kind of embarrassing, but we finally decorated the tree here and got the ornaments out, got them on the tree. And so of course I took some pictures while we were doing that. So I have a 6x8 photo of Emberlyn putting one of the ornaments up, and I'm going to use one of those chipboard circles from Ali Edwards to embellish her photo, and then of course the chipboard star to embellish the other photo. For this day, for day 11, I'm using a full page spread, so I'm not going to put anything in between the pages. On the days where I do one day on one side and another day on the other side, I'll put something in between there. A tag, a transparency, a journaling card or a photo. But when it's one day for a whole spread, I don't think it needs anything in between there. So that leaves me with another 3x4 pocket at the top of the page here. And I'm just pulling some cards from my stash. Did you see my little 3x4 card stash? That's literally all that I have right now for December Daily 3x4 cards. And I'm totally cool with that. I think there's enough options there. Some of them are from Pink Fresh Studios, some of them are from Ali Edwards, and some of them are from Pink Paisley. And so you can see here, I took one from Pink Fresh Studio and as the base, so it has the lines. It was the little deer card. And then I punched out this sentiment here from one of the Ali Edwards cards. And I'm just using a half a circle. And then it was a little bit too short to cover the whole deer. So I lowered it a little bit from the top and then added another little thin strip of washi tape on top of that little circle. And then I put another little circle heart. That circle heart is from Felicity Jane. And made my own journaling card here. And notice how there's a repetition here of the silver washi tape. There's a repetition of red and also a repetition of black with the black heart. So continuing the same colors throughout, I let the tag dictate the black and white and red and silver, and then repeated those throughout. I also, you'll notice I decided to back the tag with the red journaling card, just because I felt like it needed to pop next to the white card next to it. So it was a lot of white there. It was kind of marshmallowy looking. And then I adhered that chipboard circle on top of the washi tape on the 6x8 photo, and that completes the layout. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you will like and comment and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to hit the notification button and join me back here again on Tuesday for days 12 and 13. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.